Okay guys, now we'll have the fun part of our today's tutorial, and that is coding. So we'll start by creating a project that will have index.html and apples.js in it, and then write our JS file and then our index.html file, put them together and see what happens. So let me create test project, put index.html and script.js. Our script name will be apples.js in it, and start coding. First we will write JS file and then index.html file. So remember, we will create a function that returns string 1 apple if argument is 1, and n-1 times 1 more apple if argument is bigger than 1, and then 1 apple. So it goes like 1 apple, 1 more apple, 1 more apple, etc. until we will reach n. Okay, first we will create a space where we will save our function, and we will call that count apples. Remember, always give names that are intuitive to reader of the code, so it is understandable and clear. As we set our count apples, we will have function in it, and our function will have one argument, and that is the number with which we will call it. So in it, first we shall write our termination case, and always it is a good practice to write termination case and then go to our recursive body if you write some recursive step things. So our recursive our termination case is when our number is equal to 1. So in that case we'll return 1 apple. Okay, and if it is not 1, if it is bigger than 1, we'll return our function count apples with our argument modified and decremented by 1, so number -1 plus 1 more apple. Okay, here we should write also some console log to check the result, or you can write directly to HTML by, for example, document.write. Not such big differences in this case, so we'll use our console log. Okay, in console log we will have count apples, and I will call it with argument 5, so it will print, we hope it will print 1 apple and 4 times 1 more apple. Let me save this and go to index.html to write some simple HTML page, just basic tags, with head also. Oops. Okay, also give a title, test, and in body, and eventually you can put your script also in head part. We'll create script tag and refer to our apples.js file. Remember, because apples.js is in the same folder as index.html, we simply write its name to attach it to our HTML. So now we can check, copy full path, and we can check it. Okay, here as you can see nothing, it's just because we printed in console log. So checking console, we have one apple and 4 times one more apple. It is exactly what we wanted. So I will try to explain the code if it is not understandable. So we call count apples by 5. GS goes into function, checks firstly checks condition because it's in upper part, and code goes from up to down. So it checks and sees that it's not true, so it goes to return count apples number -1, which is 4, so count apples 4 plus one more apple. But function is called once again with count apples 4, and to know what is count apples 4, we'll call our function again, but this time number will be 4. So it checks condition again, it is not true again, so it calls count apples, this time with 3 plus one more apple. So 3 is also not defined, we don't have count apples 3 yet, we must call it again with 3 to know what it is. And this goes up until count number reaches 1, so condition is true and it returns one apple. This, but check and note that here we don't have one more call to our function with argument, so it stops recursive loop and returns one apple, and then all one more apples go and concatenate with it, and then the result is returned to here, and then console.logged here. Hope this tutorial helped you to understand recursion, and you can write some simple examples for yourself. Hope you like the video. Subscribe down below, thumbs up, and comment below if you want. Robert was with you, and I will see you guys later.